From in-state tuition changes to ICE activity near schools, these stories reminds us what is at stake for students, dreamers, and families. Welcome back to In Case You Missed It, where we break down the latest immigration and education news. But before we get into it, let me tell you that I've been craving some elotes. So if you have your favorite elote spot in the valley, please drop it in the comments. Help a girl out. Now let's break down this really harsh news. Today we're going to be talking about the latest attack from the Department of Justice to Dreamers, which they are attacking in-state tuition to our fellow dreamers in Oklahoma. An almost 2-decade law where Oklahoma made the courageous decision of provide in-state tuition to dreamers in their state. And guess what? The Department of Justice completely sued them, and now unfortunately, dreamers do not have access to in-state tuition. This is not only going to impact our access to higher education for dreamers, it's going to impact the economy of Oklahoma, it's going to impact the workforce, and it's just a mean-spirited attempt by the Department of Justice to really go against what Oklahoma the state of Oklahoma had already decided to support students' higher education. We know this has extreme ramifications when it comes to education attainment, to the economy, and just the overall healthiness of a state. So definitely something that we're tracking very closely. This is the fourth state that the Department of Justice goes against and it targets in terms of in-state tuition. We'll be monitoring this very closely. What you will need to know if you are outside of these 4 states is to ensure that you're checking if your in-state tuition is still valid. Let's remember that an executive order is not enough basis for in-state tuition to be taken away. Thankfully, in the state of Arizona, Prop 308, which was the law that Arizona voters made it happen in 2022, with, of course, the great support and leadership of our Aliento youth and allies. We know that right now, in-state tuition is strong. So if you are a dreamer in the state of Arizona, you still are eligible for in-state tuition. Let's remember that in-state tuition is not a handout, and it doesn't put dreamers ahead of U.S. citizens. It just gives them a real shot at their higher education dreams by paying the same tuition requirements and paying the same money as any other citizen would pay. So definitely, if you're an Arizona dreamer, please go to college. Don't let this discourage you, and let's keep up. And if you need help on applying for college, you can go and visit our office hours, and we also have a wealth of resources on scholarships, so make sure you are checking it out. The latest one is Becas, which deadline it is approaching, I believe, at the beginning of September. So go to our website, alientoec.org/resources, where you can find resources for scholarships so you can pursue your higher education dreams. I also wanted to share with you 2 heartbreaking stories that are happening here in our backyard in Arizona. One of them happened last week on August 5th, where as we were getting really excited to go to school, having everybody go back to school, start classes, where little kids are accompanied by their parents, and they're really excited about starting a new school year. Unfortunately, out of an elementary in South Phoenix, where 2 students were going to class, being dropped off by their parents, we said that there was some ICE activity near the schools. Thankfully, ICE did not go inside of the schools. However, it was very close to the school premise, and parents were apprehended. We still don't know all the details of these cases. What we do know is that students got to witness what is happening. You can imagine the amount of fear, stress, and anxiety. No child should be going to school thinking that their parents are going to be taken away from them right in front of their eyes. No other children should be going to school now bearing witness to this type of apprehensions in front of them, even if they're not being directly impacted. We know that in Arizona, schools are struggling. They're struggling with chronic absenteeism, and they're struggling now with this inflicted trauma that doesn't have to be the case, where now children are going to be going to school worrying about their peers. They're going to be worrying about their family. They're going to be worrying about their loved ones, and the whole community that now are going to have to endure and have to make sense of this world where parents are being taken right in front of their eyes. Despite of all these challenges, we hope that students know that they don't have to endure all these difficulties, and that school communities now have to equip now more than ever with resources. So we here at Aliento have your back and know that you're not alone. But these unintended consequences and this inflicted trauma is something that students are going to have to heal for years and decades to come. So I ask you to please pray for these students, pray for the South Phoenix community, and make sure that you're being a good supporter and sharing resources in case of these atrocities will continue to happen in our backyard. The other thing that I wanted to share, also news coming out of Yuma, Arizona, is of another DACA recipient. His name is Jose Valdominos. He was detained this past Sunday, August 10th. From my understanding of the case was that his wife was driving and he was a passenger in the vehicle. He was asked for immigration status. He said that he was a DACA recipient. The CBP agent said that DACA was not a status. If you remember in our prior, in case you missed it, there were two other stories coming out of California and Kansas. Now we're seeing it here in our backyard in Arizona, and it's extremely troublesome because we know that the Department of Homeland Security is encouraging DACA recipients to self-deport. We know that DACA is legal presence and that people should not be detained if their DACA case is still active. The government made a promise to us that if we would come forward as DACA recipients, they were not going to be utilizing this information to target us and to deport us, and they're breaking this promise. Now more than ever, it is important that we're creating awareness about these stories. I am currently praying for Jose and all his family. My understanding by a reporter told me that he is being held at Florence Detention Center. He has no criminal conviction based on what we're learning of this story as it is developing. So we're encouraging you to create awareness of this, to talk about it, to ensure that he gets released. My hope is that he will get released like the other DACA cases, but we know we cannot take anything for granted. So please keep Jose in his prayers, talk to your elected officials, post this and share this on social media. We need to make sure that we're standing in solidarity with our DACA recipients. Let's take a deep breath in. Out. I know this can be really overwhelming. This news, as I mentioned, reminds us what is at stake. But what is more important is for you to know that you're not alone. If you're impacted by this news, we got your back. We have a whole community here at Aliento who's supporting you. And if you have friends or family that are DACA recipients or part of immigrant families, remind them that they're not alone. Ask them how they're doing, especially those friends that might feel or might look that they have it all together. They need you and they need your support. So share with them their resources at alientoac.org/resources. If you have questions or suggestions, drop them on the comment box. But if it's sensitive data, make sure you slide into our DMs. And no, you're not alone. We got your back and we're going to get through this. See you next time.